Okay. So now we got everything going, I hope. Yeah, going to Justin.tv ESL Taiwan. Countdown has already started, guys. That means we are in-game, kicking, and ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, you will never find a happier breaker in your lives. Alright, so here we go. In the upper left-hand corner, spawning as Invictus Gaming's Blue Terran. His name is XY. Lower right-hand corner, he had a very extremely strong finish at WCG China in Kunshan. His name is Sora. Now you're probably wondering, who the hell is this guy that speaks Chinese and can read a little bit of Korean? His name is Yo Flash Wolves Breaker, the first American to join Flash Wolves. And if you guys want to support me, just tweet at BreakerSC2, and that's all you guys need to do. If by looking at this stream you were able to guess that I am an employee of ESL, that is also correct. And we're going to talk about this map just a little bit. There's a huge whopping potential for drop play in this game, in this matchup. It really is, especially with XY facing off against Sora. I mean, such a highly revered Protoss as this. However, XY, I'm not entirely sure. He doesn't really settle on one style of play or another. At least, that doesn't really show what he prefers to do versus this opponent or that. But he's going to go with the safest opener, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he's going to be doing a Reaper opener. At least, this has the tempo of a Reaper opener. Sora, in the meantime, is going to be going with a single gas opener. Adding on that second gas just now, before the Cybernetics core is finished, so we could see some sentries coming out very soon for rapid defense. We could also see, alternatively, Stargate play into Expo. We could, it's not very likely, but we could see a Robo. But of course, I'm not the Codes GSL player, and I'm not the WCG World Champion. So I'm going to let Sora do his play. And we're just going to observe what's going on right here, right now, and live in the now, ladies and gentlemen. So, XY, playing this out as safely as possible. Actually, already sending an SCV out, but if he's got a Reaper in production, why does he need to send an SCV out? Maybe he's playing some mind games with his opponent. Alright, so third pylon is going down in the main, so Sora has no intentions of doing any silly proxies or anything else of that nature. The Reaper is already done, out and on its way, and it seems as though Invictus Gaming's XY is just going to go ahead and... sorry about that. He's going to go ahead and get a tech lab going, and he's got his natural command center on the way. What could he be doing with just a reactor there? I mean, he doesn't have a factory or anything else to go with it, unless maybe he was trying to go mass Reapers. This has me, you know, this could be one of those games that is exclusively made in China. I mean, Neo TV Star League, for those of you guys who saw it, I was actually the English caster for that as well. That's right. I was the guy who was going crazy, waking up at 3 a.m. 4 days a week, 4 weeks in a row to cast that event. And the Reaper goes into the main. Doesn't quite get any new scouting information. Does see the double gases, but here's the big kicker. He doesn't know about the natural just yet. All right, so that reactor is ready to go. Cranking out 2 Marines. All right. This is very XY style. Not something that you see all that often, but he's just going to go straight into bio from here. Later on in the game, he's going to have to try and get some medevacs out in the game to supplement his bio forces, but until then, I think he could kind of basically gear up for a strong multi-mass bio unit kind of timing attack. But I'm no expert in that regards. So the Mothership Core is now in the main, getting chased away by 3 Marines, and it did see both of the barracks, one of which is only now getting a tech lab. So now Sora knows what's coming his way, and he decides he's going to take a safe route and just macro up behind it. Robo after the Nexus. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. This kind of has the tempo of maybe... I don't know, I'm trying to guess what this is going to be. But for the time being, I'd rather not guess it. Let's just wait and see what's going to happen here in the near future. Stim pack now on the way for XY. The Reaper coming back in for another swing, and XY is actually using him quite valuably. But the question is he or is he not going to scout that Robo? 2 Stalkers, there it is, and the Robo is scouted. Observer, first unit of the day, coming out from Sora. I'm just going to out-tab real quick and see how the stream is doing. It looks like there's no severe hiccups, no severe lag whatsoever, so I'm happy about that. Yes, we all know that Korea has extremely fabled internet. Second strongest in the world, actually. But for some strange reason, my dormitories don't seem to tolerate streamers too well. The factory finally getting thrown down, and a single engineering bay for XY. Nothing else to follow that up. Sending out that small bio contingent right now. Trying to figure out what his opponent is up to. Alright, so the robotics bay. This is going to be Colossi, perfectly safe way to play versus what Sora has seen. And that's going to make... I don't know, I really think that's what's really going to make Sora's unit composition so extremely powerful, especially given the fact that he didn't scout a starport. He didn't scout the traditional kind of 1-1-1-ish kind of opener where we always see a good deal of medevacs in production, at least at one point or another. Now more barracks being tacked on, yes, more production buildings, more meat to add on to the bones of XY. Cannon's now going down, and frame rate is just a little bit choppy. That is, of course, because I am recording this locally as well as online to twitch.tv. So here we go. Sora, Zealot, Observer, everything else properly in order. Starport. Alright. And the first 2 medevacs are going to hit the field any second now, but now we also have Blink going down behind this. This also basically paves the way for the 3rd to go down, because this is going to add a bit more mobility to the Stalkers and other gateway units that we have entering the battlefield soon hereafter for Sora. But he's got +1 armor. And that's actually going to put him ahead of XY just a little bit. I mean, Protoss units are already, I wouldn't say stupid strong, but basically absurdly strong once you stop and think about it. And XY is moving out for a concussive shells +1 attack, combat shields, timing attack. And this can be quite powerful if it's not properly microed against. And especially now, once you examine the army supply difference, it's 52 to 33. Is Sora ready to hold this off? It's all going to come down to positioning in the force fields, really. First 2 medevacs should be coming out very soon, and there it is, a stim from 1 unit charging forward, seeing what's up. And the second Colossus is about to enter the battlefield, and once it does, that's going to make it so much easier for Sora to defend. We have to see XY do something very fast. There it is, the second Colossus, the second draft out on the battlefield. But oh no, extended thermal lance isn't done for another 100 seconds. Scan goes down to reveal the Observer, and XY has been had. He knows that his opponent knows that he's there. Now XY is having to run back home. He's thinking to himself, okay, this isn't the best engagement point. A 3rd hallucinated Colossus now enters the battlefield just to play with the head of XY a little bit more. XY is running back home. Sora is able to make some room for his own expansion, his own 3rd to go down. But what about XY? Does he have his own 3rd? Okay, it's about halfway done. Charge now on the way, and this is what's going to make... This is really going to make Sora's army so much stronger. But wait, what is this? Sending out Stalkers to take possession of the Xel'Naga Watchtower, and then maybe do a little bit more poking around. But the Observer already saw the main, and the question is, did he actually see that? Oh, he didn't. So Sora could be thinking, alright, well maybe XY is gearing up to kill me right now, because he actually didn't scout that 3rd command center. But at the same time, Sora should also know, uh-oh, looks like Edison is lagging out. That's right, our big Panda Man translator for WCSNA causing a little bit of lag, causing some hiccups. IG Training House, they don't have fiber optic internet? What's that all about, guys? Come on. I'm just kidding. Come on, guys, give Edison some love. Anywho. Ooh, Stalkers cut out in the open. Nice little pickup for XY. Gets 2 of them and gets away with his bioforces intact. And in this level of play, every little bit of it makes a difference. I do need to remind you all that Invictus Gaming's XY is a WCSNA Premier League contender. 2 seasons for a fact, I know. I'm not sure about 3 seasons. Yeah, there was WCS NA Season 1, because I remember MLG casters were confusing him for Shi Guo. But this. WCS Season 2 NA, I believe, he was a Premier League contender as well. But he didn't make it to the offline finals in either situation. So Warp Prism, just waiting to make that timing really happen, and checking the punch that all of the units here have coming from Sora. I think... No, it's too far away to say that he's actually going for a timing with this, but I mean, it's entirely possible. Viking count now getting pretty dangerously high for Sora. And he's just going to send that Warp Prism in without an army to attack the front, just as XY is kind of moving out a little bit, and now he's stimming up some of his army. What is he doing now? He actually doesn't have anything back at home to save these SCVs. A handful of them do fall, 5 now to this point. And it looks like we're going to have XY pull back and try and save his natural. No problem, but the main and the third are both under attack at the same time. And Sora's just trying to do whatever he can to grate XY's nerves. He knows that his opponent is ahead in army supply with this kind of opener. The question is, where does he go from here? He stopped bringing Colossi. No, I'm sorry. He's continuing to bring Colossi into the mix, but he's also buying time for that Psionic Storm to get finished. Does he have any High Templar out on the field right here, right now? 4 of them, yes, and they are all saving energy. In fact, once Psionic Storm is ready to go, each of them will have enough energy to give 1 storm each. And XY is actually pulling the SCVs along for the ride. I didn't see that. He's going to try and kill his opponent before he can get far too much AoE out on the battlefield. He's now chrono boosting out that Psionic Storm. It's got 15 seconds to go. XY is trying to provoke an engagement from his opponent's main army. He knows he's stuck at the third, but does he know that his opponent has High Templar? He's going to have to make it a priority to make sure those EMPs hit. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to hold it. Now, Warp Prism coming back into play, dropping Zealots into the main. XY not really able to make a decisive engagement happen just yet. And now it looks like he snipes a good deal of those Templar, but they do get some storms out. A lot of red HP, SCVs, Marines, and Marauders here. XY A-moving onto the third of Sora. Meanwhile, Sora eating XY from the inside out in his own main. A handful of Bio units taking down the natural Nexus, trying to bait out an engagement here from Sora, but Sora is using the superior positioning that he has right now, and it looks like Sora may be able to prevail over this slowly but surely with that superior Colossus account, but it looks like Sora has won this game. There is the GG from XY. Breaker is breathless, ladies and gentlemen.